Jaganaya guna vritya sita aryo gachanti tamasya. Translation. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Text 19. Nayam guni baya karitaram yada drishtanu payasyati gunibayascha param vitti madbhavam so tigajati. Translation. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature. Text 20. Guna ita et yatrin dehi deha sambudbhavan jana mitru jara dukar vimukta mikram ushanti. Translation. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distress, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Text 21. Arjuna uvacha kerlingastrin gunat itan itito papito prabho kim acharya katam chaitam shin guna atvite. Translation. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes? Text 22 through 25. Shri Gubhavan uvacha prakasham cha pavitrim cha moham eva cha pandavava nadivshiti sampravatjantanti navitrantanti kanchati udashinavad ashino guna yona vichalyate guna vartnanta iti evam yo vashtihati negate samaduka sukha swata samalustas chana tuya praya prayo diyas tuya nindatma samsuti mana pamanayas tulas tuyo mitrayas paksakya sarvamano prayo paryatyo yogi gunata sayuchate. Whew, that was a tough one. Hare Krishna. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond the material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a clod, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blames to the same, who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, and who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings, such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Text 26. Mam cha yo vedpachayarnina bhakti yogena sivate saguna samati yatten brahman bhuyaya kalpate. Translation. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Text 27. Ramano hi parishyatmam atashmasvasvayascha sasvatasya cha dhamasya shukasya tekyaschcha. Translation. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of the ultimate happiness, and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. And text 1 of chapter 15. Chapter 15, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Ooh. Text 1. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Udva Umula Adya Shakam Ashvatam Paru Avayam Chandamashi Yashya Parnyani Yastam Veda Savedat Vit. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, there is a banyan tree which has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is a knower of the Vedas. In our final text, text 2, Aryas Kodvash Pashatvastasya Shakya Guna Pardavtat Vishyaya Pravala Arascha Mulani Anusyatatnani Karmanubandhi Manushluke. Translation. Branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs and objects are of the senses. This tree also roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Turning to text, chapter 14, text 18. Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Text 18. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the modes of passion live on the earthly planets. And those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In this verse, the results of action in the three modes of nature are more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets, where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mode of the goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in the system. The highest planet is Satya Loka, or Brahma Loka, where the prime person of the universe, Lord Brahma, resides. We have seen already that we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahma Loka, but the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle between the mode of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of passion, he will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth in the modes of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the modes of passion, there is also the chance of becoming mad in the next life. The lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as the abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It's the lowest quality of material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life. Birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasha is significant here. Tamashaha indicates those who stay continually in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is opportunity for men in the modes of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness, and that system is called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity certainly will continue to lower modes. Hare Krishna. Whoa, that's deep. Boy, karma. Karma and desire. That's what's leading us. What do you desire? What do you desire, Prabhu?
I feel embarrassed to talk about it. I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
Okay. Well, we all have different desires. The fact is that there are unlimited amount of desires. There's unlimited desires out there. And many of our desires are according to what the body we have been given because of our past actions. And this is where I talk a lot about that. Where this is the condition that's been given to us, our desires, because of our past actions. So in many ways, we are helpless because of this. This is where we need Krishna's mercy. Without his mercy, we will always continue down this pathway of following our desires. This lifetime, we're human. Oh, but we did something right. In our past lives, we've been rewarded through the actions of our past actions to be human. And this is a very rare state of being. I mean, in the present day, we have about roughly 8 billion humans. That seems like a lot, but it's really not a whole lot when compared to the rest of the species out there. For instance, like the ant. It's estimated to be 40 quadrillion ants out there. That's a lot of jivas. A lot of jivas waiting for a human body. Think about all the plants and trees. Think about all the mosquitoes waiting for a human body. There's a big old long line for a human body. Think about it's like going to the amusement park. You ever been to Disney World or like Six Flags? These big amusement parks, the best rides have the longest lines. Sometimes they stretch on forever. Just to get on the best ride. But if you're smart enough and you have enough money, you can buy a pass where gives you a set time, say like 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, you have the fast pass, so you can get to the front of the line at 3 o'clock. So you bypass the big line to get into a much smaller line, at 3 o'clock. That's kind of like waiting for the human life. Because your past actions have to be good enough to get that fast pass back to human birth. Like I said, there's 40 quadrillion ants. You spend your life working and working and working, and to spend your whole entire life working and enjoying your sense gratification, you just might become an ant. There's more enough openings for the ants. That's one of the biggest rides out there. It's not the most popular ride, but everyone's getting on it. So we have to check our desires. We have been given these desires by our past actions. And the only way that we can overcome these desires, we can't do it on our own. Because our past desires and our past actions have led us to this point. So we need the help of Krishna. We need his mercy. We need his grace. And one of the ways to get his mercy and grace is through the pure devotee, through the spiritual master, association with devotees. Without this, we're doomed to be repeating the cycle of birth and death over and over and over and over, going through these different modes. Yes, sometimes you might be able to be in the mode of goodness. Reach up to some of the highest heavenly planets out there. Have a nice long lifespan. They have all these crazy indulgences. But eventually death comes for you. You got to fall back down. You've been given your reward. Now you got to fall back down and take your chance again in the cycle of birth and death. Same thing, you fall down in the hellish world and passion and ignorance, pushing down in ignorance. You're paying off your debts. You're paying off. You've been given the reward of your past actions. So if you get reborn in the hellish world, you just have to you have to spend that time there. There's no advancement. You're just paying off your toll. You're paying off your time for however long that is before you can come back up to this earthly realm again. Then you might be stuck in, the cycle of birth and death through these 8,400,000 forms of species until you finally get back to the human birth. I mean, it could be a very, 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 very long time between human births. You're not careful. Very long time. I mean, who knows how many yugas you probably had to go through before you got back to human birth. You imagine having a human birth in the first yuga, and you kind of screw up, and next thing you know, you're reborn in Kali Yuga as a human. Oh man, you just missed some of the best yugas. But through that mercy of the pure devotee, spiritual master, through the association. And it's only through this association can we make a spiritual advancement. Can we get the grace that grace from Krishna to conquer our desires? Because we can't do it on our own. We've been trying. The whole reason why we are here is because we thought we can do it on our own. Krishna's given us this opportunity, the chance to actually make us think that we're actually doing it on our own. But he's in full control. He just wants you to surrender. He just wants you to say, Krishna, please, please, I want you. That's why I say that we are in the business of begging. We should be begging Gornitai every day to increase our devotion. Oh, please, Gornitai, increase my devotion to you. Increase my desire for you. I only want to desire you more and more. I want you to desire you more beyond all these material pleasures in this world. Because all these material pleasures, they're just empty. It's just a fleeting moment of happiness, and poof, it's gone. And you're having to just scrounge up for another moment of happiness. You have to go through so much tapasya to get from one moment of happiness to the next moment of happiness. The saying, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, the grass is always greener on the other side everywhere you go. Because as soon as you get to the other side, you get to that bit of happiness, it's already left. It's already gone somewhere else. And you got to start over again. Because all these things are not tangible. You can't hold on to them. It's all an illusion. Whether you can try to become the world's smartest person, go to the greatest universities, get all the degrees, get the Nobel Peace Prize. But in the end, death comes for you, and you can't take that with you. That stays here. You go out and try to get all the sense gratification all you can. Many movie stars have tried it. Many actors have tried it. Some of the world's richest people have tried it. But there are so many with that name, fame, prestige, and wealth and family. So many personalities out there that indulge themselves so much that in the end it was so empty that they took their own life because they were so miserable. They were they didn't know what to do. It was empty. It was an empty happiness. They had everything. Robin Williams brought joy to millions of people. Great personality, great sense of humor. He made people laugh, brought joy to many, made so many people laugh, but throughout his life, he went through so many struggles. Struggle with cocaine addiction, with drugs and alcohol addiction. He was at the top of his field. He was actor, movie performer. He did comedy. He did action. Not action. He did comedy. He did drama. But he was very well known, very well respected. He had family, prestige, money. He took his own life. He took his own life. If a person like that can't find happiness in this material world, what chance do we have? What chance do I have? What chance do you have, Prabhu? I mean, how long does it take to get to the top of your field? Like, if you went out and became an decided to become an actor today, how long would it take you to get to his level, if you possibly could in this lifetime, and find out that it was still empty? That is where Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga comes in. Because Krishna, that's where all the pleasure is. We're not here to satisfy our own senses. We're here to satisfy Krishna's senses. And by trying to satisfy Krishna's senses, we become satisfied. Through the association of pure devotees, through the association of bona fide spiritual master, association of the devotees, association of the deities, the paraphernalia, the Maha Mantra, the Kirtan. Association is so powerful. I mean, even present day advertisers know how powerful association is, because they've been selling you happiness through the association of a smile. When you turn on the TV and see those commercials, they're advertising the latest Coke drink, whatever flavor it is. There's a big old smile on their face, and they're selling you happiness through that smile. They're convincing you that buying this product, look, this smile, it will bring you happiness. You're using the association with a smile to sell you all these products that doesn't really bring happiness. So what's to say of Krishna consciousness? Are we smiling when we go out on kirtan? Are we smiling when we are associating with these jivas out there? Because it's only through the smiles and the extreme enthusiasm that we can attract people to Krishna consciousness. The advertisers know this. They're advertising meaningless products that are empty, that don't actually bring you happiness. It's just a fleeting moment. Here's a bag of M&Ms. How long can you stay happy with you holding that bag of M&Ms? How long is that going to last? Once they're eaten, they're gone. Can you name one thing in this world that you can grab that's going to that you can hold on to that's going to keep happiness? Just one thing. One thing at all. Anyone. You can't think of one thing that can bring you happiness that you can hold on to in this world? Not one thing? Krishna consciousness, but the material world, there's nothing. Everything that we grab on, just, the happiness just, it's a fleeting moment. It disappears. And you're finding yourself scrounging and grabbing more and more. And as long as we are given into the desires, we are performing the actions that are leading us into the into our next life. We're being rewarded for our actions. And how do we stop this reward? All these rewards are coming, whether they're good rewards, bad rewards, I always like to think of the dung beetle, you know. I always like the dung beetle as a example. Because here's a bug. It spends its days just rolling around a pile of dung, just collecting dung and adding it to its ball and pushing it in front of it. And it's so proud of this big dung ball. Look at this ball of dung. It's big, it's huge. I probably have the biggest ball of dung there is. Look, female dung beetles. I have this big dung ball. You should come over and mate with me. How far is that from humanity? What we're doing in this world, when we're just collecting material possessions that are meaningless, this junk that is empty. The only way to stop this the actions, the rewards of action is through bhakti yoga, through devotional service. Because we don't want good karma. We don't want bad karma. We don't want any karma. We want to be purified of our karma. Good karma just only binds us to this world. Yeah, we might get a better cell with a nice window, but we're still trapped behind the bars of our desire. Bad karma, yeah, we get a, much worse cell. Probably some rats and roaches running around in the basement, and, that's rewards for your bad actions. But we don't want good or bad karma. It's only through pure devotional service that we can be purified, be freed of this result of our action. Because we are training ourselves for the time of death. From the moment that we are conceived, there's one sure thing: death is coming. No way around it. I mean, yeah, sure. You got billionaires out there that, get suckered into some of these companies out there that, hey, we'll freeze your body in the hope that sometime in the future, when the science catches up, you can be revived again. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Once you're dead, you're dead. You get reborn somewhere else. There's no bringing you back in the same body. So we're training ourselves for the time of death. In Krishna consciousness, the Maha Mantra, we have all these avenues because at the time of death, when our desire leads us on to our next life, and the results of our actions lead us on to our next life, to our next body. These two things are desire and the results of action. So if we're continually engaged in Krishna consciousness and being purified of our actions, the results of our actions, and become purified, and our desire is only for Krishna, because Krishna is so merciful, he's going to fulfill all of our desires. If you desire anything else other than him, boom, you get a body that you're going to be able to fulfill that desire with. But if you're only desiring him, you're going to get a body just to serve him. Nothing else. Nothing else really matters after that. That's the whole point of Krishna consciousness. We're purifying ourselves so the results of our actions does not bring us back to this world. And we're purifying our desires to where we're only desiring to serve Krishna. That is our topmost desire, to serve Krishna. And when we have that in place, when we have that checked in place, we go straight back to him. And that's only done through the grace and the mercy of the spiritual master. There's no other way. No other way. I mean, you could try. I mean, technically, I guess it's possible. There's no guarantee that you could do it on your own. In the age of Kali, boy, that's awfully risky. That's awfully hard. I mean, look at it. Let me look at people who kind of go off on their own, and like these scientists. Hey, they're trying to figure out how the world was created, and some of these scientists say we came from nothing. How does this all come from nothing? How does this all happen by chance? But this is some of the conclusions they come. Some of the greatest minds out there come up to this conclusion that we came from nothing. That all this is happening by chance. So what hope is it for us to try to figure this out on our own? Any questions or comments? What time we got? Oh, we got 5 minutes. Yes, Prabhu.
I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, and recently I've been plagued by a lot of there's some sort of scientific term for it, but basically experiencing past impressions again. So past sinful activities or past themes of sinful activities or so-called pleasurable activities in the material world come into the consciousness and into my attention, and that's been happening a lot lately. And it's incredibly distracting. And then for myself, then I start thinking, oh, well, maybe I should make some changes or something or other. But there's nothing new about this nasty impressions. I've been cultivating these nonsense activities for so many births. It's not like they just appeared and Krishna's trying to tell me something, like I should try it out again. No, those sinful activities are exactly the ones that made me suffer so much that I wanted to become a monk and forget all that stuff. But I was thinking that, and I've mentioned it before in other classes, but it's been on my mind again, is that I have a really great opportunity to purify my heart by service to Krishna up to 24 hours a day, right? Right now, that's what we have. And if I decide with my free will to indulge in material sense gratification right, then I'm just putting some space in between myself and the required purification that I'm going to eventually need to go back to the spiritual world and reach my ultimate goal. And I was thinking about how in the Gita, it's described in the 6th chapter, as far as I remember, that if one doesn't finish the course of purification, then he goes to the heavenly planets for many, many years of quote unquote enjoyment. So, whatever enjoyment I think I want today, now in this bag of bones, that enjoyment is very paltry compared to the enjoyment that the demigods experience whenever they want without any sin. So just by a little practice of bhakti yoga, right, then Krishna has already said that we're going to get the heavenly planets. So why would I try to divert my attention in this lifetime to get a pleasure which Krishna already guaranteed to me, which is way beyond the pleasure that I think I'm going to get if I divert my attention now? But still, Maya is so tricky and we're so impatient. We're thinking, no, I just want a little bit. I want a little bit right now. I need it. But the pleasure that the demigods can experience according to the will of the Lord is unlimitedly greater. So what is it? You know, it's just illusion. It's just we're getting tricked and duped again. And it's like a really bad, cartoon where there's like a really silly character and he keeps getting duped by the stupidest tricks. And everybody's laughing at him from the other side of the television screen. And he still thinks he's a great hero. And we're like that, where we're thinking we're going to get some good pleasure right now at the cost of losing the opportunity to engage in bhakti yoga, which has already guaranteed us unlimitedly greater pleasure in the heavenly planets. What to speak of infinitely greater pleasure if we actually finish the course of purification. So I just been thinking about this and feeling a little bit foolish, and trying to use that feeling, which is actually a fact that I am foolish, use that as encouragement to keep going for the highest cause, keep going for the highest thing. And if I shoot up for the highest thing and I miss, just like you said, Krishna's going to satisfy all my desires. But if I don't go for the highest thing, I may end up like a pig.
Or you may end up rolling around a ball of dung in front of you for the attracting the female dung beetles. Yes. But that's the thing. Krishna already knows the choices that we make. He already knows this. It's already set it in motion. This is where we have to realize that it's only through his mercy. It's only through his grace. We can't do this on our own. We can't just willpower through it. We got to beg him. We got to go before the spiritual master. We got to beg. Oh, Krishna, increase my desire. Please, Krishna. I want to desire you more than anything else in this world. And just got to ask for it every day. Every day. And that's the only way through the bhakti yoga, through keeping our sadhana. That's the only way that we can overcome our desire, our material desires out there. Because in the end, all these material desires, they're empty. It's a fleeting moment of happiness. You just about the time you catch it, poof, it's gone. It's already gone. Any last minute questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita ki jai.